All right. Let's move on to the NFC South, which is one hell of a division, I guess, is I guess the best thing you could say about it. Starting off with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, my prediction was a pretty mild one. I said Baker Mayfield would end the season on back-to-back 70+% for completion percentage. Reality of it is he took a step back. I think the whole team obviously took a step back. You lose the division to the Carolina Panthers. You don't go to the playoffs. You're taking a step back regardless. But his completion percentage was part of that as well, 63.2%. Obviously, certain wide receivers going down with injury and people not performing, and there's a whole lot of factors to that one. But he didn't. I think Baker is still the type of quality of quarterback that can hit that 70% again. If we have wide receivers that stay healthy, we have guys, running backs to stay healthy. A lot of their weapons just kind of went down often and early and mid-season and pretty much the entire season. So I think he definitely can get back there, but this past season didn't quite get there, missed it by almost 7%. Now, on yours, Mike Evans blows by 1,000 yards, 12 in a row. And the big part of that you said was if he stays healthy. Reality of the situation, he was not healthy. Only played in 8 games where he recorded 368 yards and had career lows statistically across the board. Again, you play in less than half the season, your numbers just aren't there at all. But I think we know the justification, but I'll pass it to you.
It really just came down to, if you remember the season prior, him trying to break that 1,000 mark. It was at the end of the year. I don't remember what team he was playing, but I think they let him have it.
Thanks.
Which the thing about it is, like, we all saw Brett Favre fall into that final record-breaking sack. So this happens occasionally. A player like Mike Evans, when there's nothing on the line, more power to him. Let him get his record or whatever. But he was injured a lot that year, and he scraped by. So I just expected him to come back with a force. But obviously, he's been in the league quite some time. Came into the league with Johnny Manziel. That seems like a long time ago that I was watching them do their thing at Texas A&M. And that's just where we're at. I don't know what his future holds in terms of getting healthy and being a productive number 1 or number 2 wide receiver on a team. Obviously, with the Bucs this year, they were off to a rip-roaring start, and they just petered out at the end. Missed on this one by only 640 yards or 650 yards, whatever it was. But that's what happens when you make predictions in the offseason, man. You got to come on here in front of the world, own up to them, and here we are.
Yep. I mean, yeah, man, I feel like there's a couple of these where you want them to be successful, and they just don't kind of live up to it, and it's disappointing just because you want success for that certain type of player, and Mike Evans is definitely one of those guys. Moving on to the Atlanta Falcons. Starting off with mine, this one was a hit for me. So I think for first true hit, this is my first one. JSN was my next closest, but I said that their pair of rookie pass rushers would combine for 15 plus total sacks. I said that neither one of them would be in contention for defensive rookie of the year, but they would combine for it. Mr. James Pierce, which don't think we want to talk about that one too much, but James Pierce recorded 10.5 sacks, while Jalon Walker recorded 5.5 sacks, hitting 16 combined. A little bit of a surprise here, but Brandon Doles, also interior defensive lineman, recorded another 8.5 sacks. Not part of my prediction at all. Just kind of thought I'd throw it out there that they had 3 rookies that sat there and combined for 24.5 sacks. But the 2 I was mainly harping on was, again, James Pierce, Jalon Walker. Who knows the future for James Pierce? But as of his rookie year, 10.5 sacks looks pretty good. Not sure how much further we want to speak on that one, but we can move on. Moving on to yours, Drake London is going to lead the league in receptions.
That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure it was that his other 2 teammates, Kyle Pitts and Bijan Robinson, will both be like top 15 in receptions in the NFL. I think that's what I predicted for the Falcons. Hey, you know what, man? I predicted that that dude was going to throw a lot of passes, and he did. He just didn't throw them to Drake London.
Yeah, exactly. He recorded 68 receptions on 112 targets in 12 games. Landed on 36 below Chase Brown and McMillan on reception. So I know you and I kind of went back and forth on this one. Not too much, but I was like, well, that's surprising. I was like, my receptions leader is going to be JSN. Yours is Drake London. It was neither one of them. But I understand the justification for it at the very least. What is the further justification besides obviously just the potential talent pool?
I think a much more interesting topic to come out of this is Kyle Pitts, top 10 in receptions last year, 88 receptions on 118 targets. That's pretty solid. And he is potentially on the move, may or not be brought back to the Falcons. I know there's a team out there that wears the red and gold that had a devastating injury at tight end this year, and the guy's getting older, and Kyle Pitts could be a good placement there for him. Well, I got my eyes all over that. I still believe in Drake London, though. The dude is very talented. But also, how many years have we been talking about, like, when is Kyle Pitts going to live up to his potential? When is Bijan Robinson going to live up to his potential? When are these guys going to show what they can do? And unfortunately for Drake London, in my prediction, this was the year that they stepped out of their shell a little bit and arrived on the scene.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you saw where Kyle Pitts is every single year he's been in the league. It's like 1 touchdown, then 2 touchdowns a year after, 3 touchdowns a year after, 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns. He hasn't fumbled. Yeah, he hasn't fumbled a single time in his career either, which is pretty impressive. So shout out to him. But obviously Drake London not quite hitting the mark. Again, only playing in 12 games, though. Not, again, injuries play a part in this entire thing as well. Moving on to the Saints, I swung on this one and missed. I mean, they traded for a wide receiver, just not the right one. I said Chris Olave will be traded by mid-season reality situation. Olave stayed, recording a career high in yards, receptions, and touchdowns. Instead, the moving piece for the Saints was Rashid Shaheed. He gets traded and goes on to be a massive piece in the Super Bowl winning run that the Seahawks went on. So he's a massive part. Obviously, it's a huge trade for the Seahawks and what they did. Wide receiver got traded, just not quite the right one. Justification for this one's pretty easy. I mean, with the injuries that Chris was sustaining year after year after year with the concussions, and felt like it was always something. Not sure if he could stay healthy, but try to get something out of him before, he's hurt too much to get anything out of him, which sounds bad saying it out loud, almost kind of feels like video game logic there a little bit, but that's the reality of the NFL is you're trying to get the most out of these guys before they break almost. But reality again, Olave stayed career high and everything across the board. Tyler Shuck is probably going to be the quarterback again next year, and we're going to see exactly what Olave can put up in back-to-back years. Hopefully he can stay healthy. Moving on to years, though, Alvin Kamara wins Offensive Player of the Year. I know the justification this one because you said the justification in the video. I'll let you do it before, we kind of go too deep in the woods. But he did only play 11 games, totaling 471 rushing yards, 1 touchdown, 33 receptions for 186 yards. Did not win, obviously, Offensive Player of the Year. JSN was the winner. CMC, Puka, Bijan, Drake May being runners up, so no votes. I know the justification, but why don't you go and tell the people?
I guess looking back, predicting a Offensive Player of the Year on a team that I don't remember when I predicted the Saints to get their first win on the season in our divisional predictions. I do know that Saints fans were really pissed at me for whatever it was, but trying to pick an Offensive Player of the Year to come from a team like that was probably a mistake. 131 carries is not great. 1 touchdown is not great. So this one, probably as bold as it was, a pretty big mistake. But also, in my defense, here's my justification. We're talking about the New Orleans Saints, a boring ass franchise coming into this season, and I just wanted to do something spicy with it. You know what I mean? What else were we going to predict? Here's my hot take. They don't do shit this year and they go through 12 quarterbacks. That's not fun. So here we are.
Yeah, I mean, and a big part of it was this team was so bad. Chris Olave can't stay healthy, and they have to do anything and everything on the back of one player. And their biggest piece, their most talented piece, coming into the season was definitely AK right there, but doesn't quite hit. I mean, which we got a lot of them, one after another.
Fair enough.
Moving on to the Carolina Panthers, though, this is one that going back and listening, it was very funny because obviously I'm notoriously high on the Carolina Panthers and Bryce Young and yada, yada, yada. But this is one I said even in the video that I was going to keep a little bit more mild. I said that Derrick Brown receives his second Pro Bowl selection and a first-team All-Pro spot. Did not hit it, unfortunately. Still had a pretty solid season. He recorded 73 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, 11 quarterback hits. Did not receive a Pro Bowl nod or All-Pro selection. Those honors go to Jalen Carter, Leonard Williams, and Quinnen Williams. They received your Pro Bowl selections for the interior defensive line spots. And Jeffrey Simmons, Cam Hayward, Quinnen Williams, Leonard Williams all received All-Pro selections for the spot as well. So again, gets beat out by those guys who have fantastic seasons. Doesn't diminish what he does at all. Again, 73 tackles at that interior defensive line spot. Impressive still, but didn't quite live up to where I thought he was going to be back where he was in 2023 and this past season. But Andy Dalton will start more games for the Carolina Panthers than Bryce Young. Obviously, when you said this, and in the video, I kind of went nuts on it because of my love for Bryce Young. Bryce Young, obviously, he played in 16 games, passed for over 3,000 yards, 23 touchdowns, and led the Panthers to a playoff spot in a weak division. Would he have won a playoff spot in any other division? No, but led him to a playoff spot, and that's the most important part. So, justification for this one.
I mean, he had an 89.3 passer rating on the entire year, so I think he did pretty good in his opportunities, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. This one kind of felt like just poking at you when I made the prediction. That's my justification on it, is I just wanted to. I like Bryce Young, you know what I'm saying? He's a California guy. Like, I've watched basically his entire season, for his entire career, even like a senior in high school. And I think, unfortunately, this is one of those situations where you get drafted to the Carolina Panthers, and famously, my basketball team, the Sacramento Kings, has been referred to as basketball hell. If they'd made the right picks with Damian Lillard or Kawhi Leonard or Steph Curry or Giannis Antetokounmpo, it wouldn't have mattered because we would have ruined them. There are franchises like that in the NFL. You see it with an interesting conversation to be had this offseason on what the Indianapolis Colts are going to do with Daniel Jones. He gets away from the Giants, and here he is. Bryce has got a little of that Carolina Panthers stink on him, but he had the best season of his young career so far. They made the playoffs technically, right? Just like
Right.
Mac Jones has technically made a Pro Bowl, right? Because all the 17 quarterbacks in front of him did want to go, but he made a Pro Bowl, right? Yeah, I don't think I'll have any strong predictions for Andy Dalton this upcoming season, but hopefully Bryce can build on his season because I want to see the kid have success. So not really a justification except for talking crap to you, right?
Oh, yeah, it definitely was. I mean, you know, what's funny is I lost my mind a little bit when you initially said it, and I had a prediction in there, like in your prediction, and I said that he was going to throw for over 3,000 yards and 20-plus touchdowns and have a solid season, and it wasn't even my prediction. I just threw it in there because I was throwing it in there. So even on my usual Bryce Young stuff, it's pretty tame.